Joachim Quantz did say on A major, "In order to express the emotions of love, tenderness, flattery, sadness, we find all this in this reflection of life, which is the sixth Caprice, Opus 26 by Matteo Carcassi." I don't know if those 6 caprices were meant to be played one after another just as a set. But anyway, this last one concludes to some means that 6 caprices, and if you did that action what I did, romanticizing and developing ideas on what could be meant and the stories that could be behind those pieces, this could be a very good ending point. Because it's, to me, a reflection on life, actually, in a conversation of more than one person, probably a family, husband and his wife reflecting on life, probably the life of their children, who knows. Let's dive in briefly in a technical issue that we have to consider here. The piece is beginning with a very famous arpeggio. This arpeggio is famous because we all know and played probably that piece number 13 from the Papillon by Mauro Giuliani, which is this one. So we can run into the similitude of those two arpeggi, even if Carcassi is A major. But there are very important differences. The allegro of Carcassi is slower. First thing, then it's major, not minor. Second one, and the most important thing, in Carcassi you will see that we need an accent on the highest note. Meanwhile, in Giuliani, we don't need that because we have the same time signature in both pieces, but the Giuliani piece is clearly focused on an eighth movement. We can tell that very well by the bass line, and we should respond to this in the arpeggio playing. So, bringing out the higher voices in that arpeggio. In Carcassi, we just need the highest note. And the bass line is going clearly in quarter notes. And here the arpeggio changes as this caprice is more various in arpeggio playing. That's an important point to see. Now let's dive in and see the form of the caprice of Carcassi. We have actually 3 main parts, so to say, which is the beginning part, the calm reflection of life, which is the first A major part, where, well, if we imagine a couple of husband and wife reflecting on their lives, probably, they are just discussing very calmly in an afternoon. Might be spring, nice weather, it's not too cold, not too hot. Everything's perfect, and they are reflecting on it in the A and in the B part. The C part is just, well, reflecting on what was their past, actually. If we go in the D part, we have the return and the thinking that there were not only happy and gay days, but there are, well, bad things too, as we say when we marry each other, in good days and in bad days, in health and in sickness, and you know what I mean, probably. Do you? A perfect recapitulation of the A and B part, and an ending which is, well, a silent reflection of both on what they probably talked about in the parts before. And it's calmly finishing. So this is more or less the idea of the story in this caprice. The A part begins with this Giuliani arpeggio. Now, I like to play out the highest note E. Why this? Because on the second bar, I have a kind of answer or continuation to this E with the A, which is going in the next bar to F sharp. Then again, which is very calm. There is not much action, but we could probably consider those two persons. One person and the other one is. And very easily, I imagine this is the husband. And the other one is the wife. If that idea is helpful for you, use it. Otherwise, make your own ideas. Create your own persons that could interact in this piece. In the next part, the B part actually is beginning with a quite long Anacrusis, and we have to focus on the tenor part, so to say. I don't know if this is a third person, but anyway, there's a kind of discussion starting in the B part. We have the tenor to talk. More accompaniment. And the response is sixth lower. If we have here a new theme to think about, a theme as a discussion between people, this might be exposed in those two inner voices. It's not the inner voices, it's the lowest one and the middle one, A and C, going up. In the response, actually, that thirds are inverted to sixth. And actually the C that was in the alto part now is in the lower part. It's just a perfect inversion, as if you look on both sides of the same thought. Very nice. And this is the B part very much. Ending in a long Anacrusis still, and here we have to do a bit of magic, because what we actually see and hear is just a triad. Now, where is here the important voice? We will see this if we look in the next section. This Anacrusis, to my opinion, should be played with a focus on the soprano, because the soprano will now start singing melodically in a quite moved way respect to what it was before. Now it's moving, so in these triads I try to do an accent on the soprano. Etc. So this is what I think is very nice, and it's a more intense conversation between the two parts, because the bass is answering and accompanying the thought of the soprano. In a parallel movement. So, well, a new kind of, a new theme of conversation between the persons in this story. The D part is then leading back to the recapitulation, but here is an important expressive element in that should be considered. We can hear this clearly when we only look at the structure of the harmonic structure of the piece. In D, we have this Anacrusis, which is from the C part. quite normal. So to say the conclusion, do you remember that nice times that we had in A major? Followed by but there were bad times too. So these counterposition of major and minor with almost the same music is some bittersweet memory on lives that people have. You aren't always happy, are you? So this is an idea that you possibly can get here. What you have to do in our arpeggio is to play that out with the right accents on the notes in the arpeggio. So in the D part, so the conversation is still going on. So it's more moved actually in the arpeggio than it is in the background structure, the harmonical structure that I played before, which is logical. And so you can sing and converse and talk between the bass and the soprano line. Very, very nice to do. And yeah, technically quite challenging. By the way, let's talk about dampening. In this D part, for example, we have that low E. This is actually not disturbing too much, so in this very point you could actually let it ring out. But if you don't like to hear the E, you have to dampen it, and there are basically two possibilities. Or you dampen it with the right hand, and that is that you, when playing the fifth string A, you touch the sixth one with the outer side of the thumb in the moment you play the A. Otherwise, you just jump back quickly with the thumb from the fifth string to the sixth one, and it's dampened. And the other possibility is, if you like to do so, to dampen it in the left hand. Normally I would not recommend that because it's louder. Not too much if you take the very soft part of the fingertip, but it could, the left hand, produce some extra sound and noise that we don't want to have in here. But as this is an arpeggio which is quite quick, a lot of notes, so this noise will not be heard, and you could damp it anyway with the left hand too. If you watch the video of my performance of the piece, look closely to my left hand, because very often I use the left hand to damp those basses. The right hand too. It's, well, kind of random in this piece, so probably I have not studied enough. After the perfect recapitulation of what we had in A and B, there is the end coming up. And here still we have the same beginning in arpeggio. But now this is actually harmonically more lively than the very beginning, because we have now the G flat as A7 and not the A. Then D major with A in the bass, which is in this point a pedal point. And the pedal point gives us the calm, secure fundamentation on our music. Then again, we have that change from major to minor. And this first part of the end section is 6 bars again. The second half of the ending. And again, not really major and minor, but anyway, the bad times and the nicer times that could occur in life. This twice, diminuendo to pianissimo and rallentando at the end. So very, very calmly we, well, go out of the scene and we leave not only number 6 of the 6 caprices, but the whole story, if there is one, in 6 pieces by Carcassi. At least I like to consider it in this way. Okay, here's my performance. Okay, thank you very much for watching. That was my last show on the 6 caprices of Carcassi. I have a playlist with all the lessons and will successively publish the single registrations of the performances, so you could have a listen to that. Thank you very much for watching up to this point. Consider to subscribe to the channel, leave me a thumb up, and well, yeah, share, ask, and comment if you like, whatever you want to know and to say in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.